Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Entitled Dad wants to trade a Happy Meal toy for my son's $40 toy. After that, Entitled Mom lets Entitled Daughter take Easter eggs from other kids' basket. After that, this is ridiculous. The battle cry of difficult customers. And after that, Coach ruins my shoulder, my dad ruins her career. Now, Karen assured me we would not reach 1,000 thumbs ups on this video, so please prove her wrong by smashing that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. And if you want a custom message from Karen to prank your friends, visit Mr. Reddit on Fiverr, link below. Entitled Dad wants to trade a Happy Meal toy for my son's $40 toy. Characters. We've got Entitled Boy, Entitled Girl, and Entitled Dad. Let me preface this with, my son loves to share. If he has one piece of candy left and you ask him for it, say it's your favorite. He will either give it to you or split it in half so you can have some. He enjoys things much more if he shares them, so you can enjoy it too. That's just how he is. Also, we are on a pretty strict budget, so he doesn't receive rewards or presents except on special occasions. My son is 6. And we just came home from parent-teachers conference and were told he was doing great. So we stopped at the store on the way home and let him pick out a toy as a reward. He picks out a $40 Iron Man toy. This toy would light up, was about up to his knee, just a cool fun Iron Man. Upon arriving home, he sees Entitled Boy and Entitled Girl outside playing, so he immediately wants to go outside and show them his new toy and play with them. I'm watching them from the window. I see Entitled Girl go to her house and come back with one of the Iron Man toys that came from a McDonald's Happy Meal. Entitled Girl gives the Happy Meal Iron Man to my son, grabs his Iron Man and Entitled Boy, and run back to the house. I run outside and am met by my son, who is crying. He tells me that they took his Iron Man and gave him the Happy Meal one as a trade. I am livid. I march over to their house and Entitled Dad comes to the door. I explained what happened and tell him that I want my son's toy back. He tries to tell me that my son agreed to the trade and they are both Iron Man, so what's the difference? Meanwhile, I see the entitled kids behind him playing roughly with my son's toy. After about 15 minutes of arguing, with a very sad 6-year-old by my side, I finally threaten to call the cops, and Entitled Dad tells the entitled kids to give back the toy. They tell him, "No, we like this Iron Man better." Entitled Dad tells the kids he will get them the same Iron Man next week when he gets paid, and the kids still told him no. Entitled Dad then tells me that they can keep it, but have to give it back when he gets them one. I interrupt him, saying, "No, they cannot keep my son's toy. That was his reward for doing good in school." Entitled Girl then smashed Iron Man into the floor, breaking the arm off of him. My son starts bawling. Entitled Dad and Entitled Kids start laughing, and Entitled Girl just says, "Oops, he can have it back now." I take my devastated son home with his broken Iron Man. It's getting late at this point, and I tell my son that I'll take Iron Man to the hospital when he's sleeping so his arm can get fixed, but he has to get to sleep so I can take him. About an hour after my son is asleep, there's a knock on our door. It's another neighbor. She tells me she saw part of it, and Entitled Dad bragged to her husband about it. She also tells me that she does daycare for the entitled kids, and they often act like that. Our awesome neighbor proceeds to hand me a brand new Iron Man, just like my son's. I thank her, but tell her I couldn't accept that. She laughs and said that she's putting the cost on Entitled Dad's daycare bill, so he's actually paying for it. I accept and invite her in for a glass of wine. Needless to say, Iron Man came out of the hospital looking brand new, and my son was ecstatic. He also stopped playing with the entitled kids. Edit for clarification. This all happened 2 years ago. A lot of people commented about calling the cops. Several reasons why we didn't. Some of y'all might not understand this, but others will. Although I'm white, my family is Native American, and cops around here are sketchy. Next, this got settled, albeit in a very roundabout way. Karma will finish the rest. I'm not sure what happened to the dad and kids, although I like to think that their last name was O'Doyle, and their car went off a cliff after slipping on a banana peel. Again, this was not what happened, just my happy fantasy of what did. Next we've got entitled mom lets entitled daughter take Easter eggs from other kids' basket. This is the same entitled daughter who woke me and my twin sister up when we had the flu. The baby hadn't started walking yet, so she was not participating in the egg hunt. Not to mention, she couldn't eat half the candies anyway, so mom gave her some baby food fruit as a special treat. As a general rule, an adult or older kid who is not participating in the egg hunt has to be with the kids who are participating in the egg hunt because there are deadly snakes in my area. This was to be the last time my twin and I could do the egg hunt. So by this time I had about 15 eggs. I had bent down to get another one in some grass when I felt something in my basket. I looked behind me and saw entitled daughter holding one of my eggs. Older niece 1 saw her too. Older niece 1. Entitled daughter, give me back her Easter egg. Entitled daughter. Well, she has tons. I only have 3. Older niece. If OP wants to give you an egg, you have to ask first. No! Okay then, you can't have the egg if you can't be nice. Older niece 1 then took the egg back as well as my basket so that entitled daughter couldn't reach it. Haha, shorty brat. We continued to collect eggs when I saw entitled daughter over by twin sister trying to take her eggs, but older niece 2 had noticed as well and was preventing her from taking them. Entitled daughter gave up on them, and of course, she tried to get eggs from the kid that was my most fiery-tempered sister. That ended with her getting yelled at. But who did entitled daughter run to? Entitled mom. Enter the battle between older sister and entitled mom. But of course, she goes after me first. It's well known that I'm the pushover twin. Entitled mom. You give my precious angel your eggs, you spoiled little brat. Mind you, I never get candy unless it's a holiday, and I only get presents on my birthday, my gotcha day, the day you were adopted, and Christmas. So how the heck was I spoiled compared to her little brat who ate ice cream for all 3 meals, and she got a present every time she came home from school, unless she was with my mom, who made her do homework. Entitled mom did entitled daughter's homework for most of the time. Older niece 1. Leave her alone. Entitled daughter can either ask for an egg or she can collect them on her own, but she's not going to take them from other kids' baskets. Entitled mom then tries to grab my basket from her, but older niece merely took a step back, grabbed my hand, and told me I could collect 4 more. They had a limit on how many you could collect, so that all kids had an equal amount. That's when entitled mom shoved older niece 1, causing both of us to fall and my eggs to go everywhere. Entitled daughter then started picking them up, and I began to cry because I had landed on my arm, breaking it. Older niece glared at entitled mom and entitled daughter before telling her one simple sentence. Older niece. You'll pay for that. Older sister. Entitled mom broke OP's arm. Older niece picked me up before heading toward where my mom, dad, and little sister were. Older niece. Entitled mom pushed OP and I. OP landed on her arm and I think it's broken. Mom and dad took me to the hospital, so the rest of this is what I was told happened. Older sister punched entitled mom in the face. That went to court, but she was cleared because of what happened, so it was seen as self-defense. And my brother ended up breaking up with her. Not to mention, the church where we were doing the egg hunt took back my eggs and entitled daughters and told entitled mom that she was not welcome back and that her daughter was not allowed any eggs now. Next we've got, This is ridiculous, the battle cry of difficult customers. I work at a resale store. People bring in their clothes, we look through it, and offer them cash on the spot for whatever it is we reckon is good enough for the store. We also send a text after we're done looking through people's stuff. The cast. We've got me, we've got Key Holder, and Mrs. Angry. I get a phone call. Mrs. Angry. Hi, I just got a text from y'all saying that my stuff is ready. Me. Yes ma'am, that's correct. Well, could you tell me what all you took and how much money I'd be getting for it? I actually can't give you those details over the phone, but we'll hold your things. At this point, she interrupts me, but I was gonna say that we'll hold her stuff for 3 days, at which point we'll just throw it in a donation bin across the parking lot if they're not back for it. Oh, and we can't give any info she wanted over the phone because we've had issues with people just not showing up to pick up their crap if they're not happy with the amount of money they're getting. Mrs. Angry. What? This is ridiculous. I'm home with a plumber right now. Me. Okay. Mrs. Angry. I read your little contract. There were no stipulations like this in there. Me. Hold on just 1 second. Mrs. Angry suddenly syrupy sweet. Okay, thank you. It's worth noting that I could just glance over my shoulder and read off her receipt that she was getting about $25. I bring the phone to Keyholder and say, hey, this lady's yelling at me because I won't tell her how much we're giving her for clothes. And then I head off back to the front counter because I have reasonable people who need help. Over the next 20 minutes, Keyholder is in the back room dealing with Mrs. Angry. Keyholder texts the district manager, who straight up tells us to stop talking to Mrs. Angry over the phone. A couple times, Mrs. Angry calls the store and Keyholder hangs up on her. After a while, Keyholder comes up to the front and canceled Mrs. Angry's transaction, saying, we don't deal with people like that. She says she's coming in tomorrow. I'll handle her. Great, I'm not working tomorrow. Fast forward to 2 days later, a day I am working. Mrs. Angry comes in. She's a day later than she said she'd be. She comes to the counter all pleasant. That's my stuff right there. I had a time of it over the phone with you guys, you know? Me. Oh. Mrs. Angry. Yeah, and I would never yell at anyone. I wasn't yelling. I was just trying to understand the situation, you know? Right. She doesn't recognize my voice. So, what did it all come out to? Me. We canceled your transaction. You did what? We're right at the front counter. A different Keyholder is ringing up a customer. Both Keyholder and customer turn to watch. Why? We just did. This is ridiculous. I can't believe you treat people this way. I just wanted to know the details of my own order over the phone. Why can't I have the details of my own order? It's store policy. Do you have a manager? Or a manager's number I can call? We taped the customer service email to your bag. She rips the paper off the bag and crumples it up. Never mind. Whatever. She throws it over the counter and snatches her bags off the counter. I can't believe this. I'm never coming back here. I can tell you that. Okay. She yanks her bag towards her. One of them hits a display of bracelets we have on the edge of the counter. A few of the bracelets fall onto the floor. Oops. Oh no. Oops. I'm so sorry. Clumsy me. She walks to the door, fumbling with her huge bags, and then stops at the doorway. Other customers are now staring at her. Mrs. Angry. And I just wanted to know, you know, just to see how much it'd be, because actually, I was never going to give you a shred of my clothing. Me. Have a good day. She gets out to the parking lot, drops her bags on the ground by accident, flips off the store, and then spends 15 minutes at least gathering up her bags and some loose change that had fallen out of her purse. Customer. What the heck was her problem? On the bright side, this place has had my back more than any other place I've worked. The district manager backed us up on upholding store policy, and she actually said, you guys are just doing your jobs. You don't deserve this. I'd rather lose customers. Next we've got, Coach ruins my shoulder. My dad ruins her career. So back when I was in high school, I went to a charter school that didn't have any sports teams. Because of this, I was allowed to compete on the high school's teams that I lived closest to. My sport was swimming. I wasn't the best at it, but I was consistently in the top 4 to 5 swimmers on the team. This was something I was very proud of, since I learned how to swim when I was just 14 after my brother forced me to join the team with him. The issue that I had with learning how to swim when I was older was that I didn't know anything about swimming. My coach on the first swim team was an alright coach, not the one the story is about, but was a total jerk about workouts and could not teach technique worth a darn. Because of this, I developed a lot of bad habits with my strokes, and as I swam more and more, they became harder for me to change. One of these involved breathing on only one side when I swam front crawl. This led to one side of my body being more muscular and developed than the other. My weaker side lagged behind to the point I had developed issues with my shoulder. It would become inflamed and even pop out of socket occasionally. Luckily, I was able to join a year-round club with a fantastic coach who we'll call Christy, helped me fix my strokes and get me better than I had been before. The issue was that some damage was already done to my shoulder, so strokes like butterfly were harder for me to do because of the amount of stress that it puts on your shoulders. I made sure that all my coaches knew that I couldn't do butterfly consistently in competition because of my shoulder. Things went great for my freshman and sophomore years. I even went to the state championships my sophomore year. In my junior year, I got a variance on the team that I could swim on since I had some mental health issues, so I was able to swim on the same high school team that Christy ran. Things were great until the head coach of that high school retired after coaching the team for over 30 years and a new head coach was hired. This is the one the story is about. We'll call this coach Kim. The coaching staff changed my senior year, and I was ready to drop some killer times and kick butt to qualify for the state championship in my favorite event, the 500-yard freestyle. Practice begins for the year, and within the first week, I could tell that Kim had no idea what the heck she was doing. Kim had fired Christy from the high school team and brought her own staff that consisted of her personal friends. It came to my knowledge that the only swimming experience Kim had was with triathlons and not competitive swimming. These are two different worlds. Kim didn't know that each swimmer has usually 1 or 2 strokes they are better at than the others. Mine was freestyle and backstroke. My best times were in races with these 2 strokes. Kim thought that since I had a good-looking butterfly stroke, that was what I should swim at every meet. Big no-no since I had a bad shoulder. Kim all but ignored this because, "I'm the coach. I know what's best for the team." All while she screwed most of the relay teams over with horrible orders and wrong swimmers, and even caused swimmers to quit because she was such a jerk. As I had with every coach before her, I told Kim that I can't do butterfly at every meet like she wanted me to, since I had a bad shoulder. She acknowledged what I said, but proceeded to put me in the butterfly position of the relay every meet of that year. This was taking a toll on my shoulder and was hurting my other times. At our regional championships, I was assigned to the butterfly position in a relay. Yet again, I was upset because this would likely be my last meet ever and I didn't want to hurt my shoulder. I asked Kim if she could take me out of that relay and put me in a different one because I wanted to focus on my other races, mainly my 500 freestyle. Kim shot me a death glare and basically shouted at me for questioning her coaching decisions. I just said, "Forget it. I'll swim the race, but I'm not trying at all." I went over to the starting blocks with my relay team and we started the race. I jumped in and swam my portion, and I was even petty enough to send a quick middle finger to Kim as I passed her, sitting on the side of the pool. When the race was over, I walked over to cool down and relax until I needed to get ready for my 500 free. After I'm all relaxed and ready to get ready, I hop back in the pool and get ready to swim my 500 free. During my warm-up, my bad shoulder was feeling a little different and caused some pain. I wasn't about to withdraw from my race, so I shrugged it off as being sore from the butterfly and went to the starting blocks again. I started my 500 free fantastically. My shoulder felt great and I was keeping a faster pace than I planned without a problem. After the 150-yard mark, my bad shoulder decided now was the time to shine. Because I swam butterfly at a pretty good speed earlier and had been all season, it gave out. I felt a horrible pop and I couldn't move it. I floated into the wall where my counter was and just sat there holding my shoulder, knowing that I was done swimming for good. I even lost a scholarship to swim at a good college because of this. I was upset, but it wasn't anything with how upset my dad was. He had hated Kim since day one. My life went on, but my little brother, from now on called Connor, was still on the swim team and having issues with Kim since he didn't go to the high school we swam for. Little brother went to the charter school with me. Since many of the people who were my age carried our swim team and were already good the year before, the team sucked after we graduated. Connor's junior year was horrible. He started his senior year after trying to just shut up and ignore Kim as best he could. Here's where Kim started to screw everything up for herself. She fired Connor from being a captain of the swim team because he knew people egged the house of another team member. It had nothing to do with the swim team other than it was someone's house. Connor wasn't even involved, he just knew about it. Kim's next mess up was when she was in a particularly jerky mood one practice. She pulled out all the swimmers for what she always called a come to Jesus talk. Basically, it was a profanity-ridden rant about how the team sucked and everyone was lazy other than her favorite swimmers, who were saints and did nothing wrong. Connor finally had enough and pulled his phone out and recorded the entire rant. Just a few of the things said were things like, "You're all lazy. It's about time you got your crap together. And why the heck are you guys here anyways?" Now remember, she was the coach of a high school swimming team. She was also a teacher at the high school at the same time. I should also point out that in her class syllabus at school, it says, "Swearing will not be tolerated. Grades can suffer if it persists." The irony was too thick, and this is where the revenge starts out. My dad had finally had enough of Kim being a jerk to everyone who she didn't like. He took the recording and sent it to the school principal. The principal met with my dad and basically told him that they would look into it and let him know, but gave the impression that he was on Kim's side and my dad could buzz off. So once the principal was about as helpful as genital warts, my dad went to the school district and filed a complaint against her. Again, the district was just about as useful in disciplining her as Gandhi at a potluck and told my dad to not worry about it. This is where my dad went to take the revenge to the next level. Little did I know, he recorded a conversation with Kim from my senior year about why I wasn't on the varsity relay for an event despite being faster than one of the swimmers. She had made up lies about me, saying that I disrespected other teams, harmed the other swimmers during the practice, and was rude to her in explicit ways. My dad had ways of verifying all of this was false and kept digging. Not only did he have enough to do Kim over, but also half of her coaching staff. Her strength coach would regularly shout at me and curse at the swimmers during practice if they weren't doing things right. Dad found evidence that Kim knew about my shoulder injury and blatantly ignored it. She also told different people she didn't like me or Connor and that we shouldn't be on the team since we didn't attend the high school. My dad found a whole laundry list of things on Kim and compiled it all. Since the school and school district did nothing, my dad went straight to a friend he had on the State Board of Education. He showed his friend everything. After hearing and seeing everything that Kim did, my dad's friend was livid. She immediately filed all the paperwork and made all the calls to get Kim's teaching license suspended, her coaching certifications revoked, and fired from working at the school. It gets better from here. My dad's friend also sent out a memo to the whole school district telling them that she was fired for gross misconduct of an employee while working. This all but blacklisted her from finding a job anywhere in the country. It was so satisfying, and I love knowing that she can't coach anymore, so no one will deal with her being a horrible person like that again. And shoutouts to our re-generals of the day: Chissy Spider, 125 Phoenix, Cool Hand, That One Potato, and Naga Min. Become tomorrow's re-generals by leaving as many re's as you can in the comments below.